In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a YouTube channel. And whilst there's nothing fancy about that, we're going to do this a little different. Instead of using video editors and fancy pants software, we're going to use Canva, the popular graphic design software, for the entire thing. Banners, intros, avatars, thumbnails, even the videos themselves. Let's call it a challenge to see if we can simplify the whole process of creating a YouTube channel so that anyone can do this, and all they need is a computer, internet connection, and a free Canva account. But why Canva? Well, as a digital marketer, I seem to have collected a small army of software subscriptions over the last couple of years. Every month I'm paying out on web hosting, sales funnels, email marketing, animations, video editing software, copywriting, you name it. I've probably got a subscription for it. In all of that software, there's one that I absolutely love. It's a go-to resource for so many things that I need to do, and that's Canva. It's incredibly versatile and has got tons of integrations and features. And whilst I use the paid version, the free version is still pretty freaking awesome. Most people use it just to create social media posts or graphic design, but is it powerful enough to build and run a YouTube channel? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Before we do, if you're new to my channel, my name's John Davis. I help content creators maximize their impact and income using proven strategies and tech. If that sounds like your cup of tea, hit subscribe. Now, the first thing we're going to do is actually create our YouTube channel. Now, I'm going to be adding an additional channel to my main one. But if this is your first one, then it's really easy. You just need a Google account to sign up with. So if you look in the top right-hand corner, it's got sign in there. So if we just click on that, and then it's really straightforward. So if you've not already signed in as a Google account, you just click on that create account button and create account for myself. Follow that through, just put the details in there. You're going to have to create an email address, you'd put your name, address, set a password on it, and that's it, you're pretty much done there. Like I say, I'm going to create an additional channel to my main one, and I'll show you how to do that now. Now, once we've signed in, we're going to click on our avatar in the top corner, and then click on settings. In the middle, it'll say add or manage your channels. Click on that. And then we're going to click on create a channel. So when you're creating your channel name, try and think about who you want to help and what content you want to create. It could be a hobby, passion, or just something you want to learn. There's a place for everyone on YouTube. For the sake of this video, let's create an animal channel. Let's call it the Dog Boss. The Dog Boss sounds quite authoritative, plus I know it's a hugely popular niche with fanatical dog owners. So that channel's now set up. There's nothing in there, as you can see. There's no videos, no subscribers, there's no avatar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to start populating this now. First thing to do before we jump into Canva and set everything up is just click on Customize Channel. And within this, we'll just get the basics out the way. So start off by clicking on Basic Info, and we're going to want a description. You can put some keywords in here that people are generally going to look for, but again, this is just a short paragraph and it's more aimed at why people should subscribe to you. What is it that you're offering? Again, you can always come back and change this and have a look at what other people are doing as well and try and get some inspiration there. But as I'm doing this a little bit off the cuff, that's what I'm going to go with. Everything else we don't need to change at this point. So at some point when you've got enough subscribers, you'll be able to put a custom channel name, but we can't do that at the moment. You can add a link in if you wish to add a link that takes people to maybe a subscribe button or maybe a website, and you've got some contact info. It's worth having an email address and putting the contact info in there because it's a good way for sponsors and brands to eventually reach out and work with you, and you never know what might come from that. So if we click on branding, this is where we're going to jump into Canva because there's a few things we need to design and then upload. So let's just click publish to save that about page. Now I use a paid version of Canva. It's one of my go-to resources. I'm using it pretty much every day, whether it's for social media posts, YouTube, my thumbnails, pretty much anything I do within Canva. And like I say, this video is about showing you how you can set up a full YouTube channel using only Canva. So I'd recommend the paid version. I think it's worth every penny, but most of what I can do in that paid version, you can actually do on the free version as well. There's just a few things that I think it's really worth the upgrade. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create our profile picture or our avatar. One thing to remember is that these are usually what shows when you're putting comments on videos, so they're tiny. So you want it to be quite kind of simple and bright and to stand out. You don't want to put too much detail in there because it'll just be lost. Now, one great thing about Canva is that it's got so many pre-made templates. So if we just type in YouTube, you can see all of the different templates that are already set up for us. In this case, we want to use YouTube icon. Canva will then give us tons of pre-made templates that we can use as well, some suggestions. So it may be that you just want to change the words or add your own picture onto these, or it may be that you would you can use them as a starting point where you can pick one of them and then just delete certain things off there. But you can see they're all quite simple and bold. If you had a particular colour in mind, you can actually filter these suggestions by colour as well. So as you can see, if we choose green, it just gives us these ones. I'm just going to start with a blank YouTube icon. One thing to remember with these is your icon, if we go back to YouTube, do you see these icons here? They're circular. You can't have a square one. So there's absolutely no point in filling up the details of these corners. So you want to try and keep it circular yourself. Now I'm just going to colour in the background. I'm going to keep it quite a nice colour, quite bold. I'm going to go with that blue. If you want to make sure that you're kind of working to a circle so it's going to look effective as well, then one thing you can do is click on Elements. Under Lines and Shapes, you can create a circle. And you can just drag that circle. Now it's up to you. You can actually make that part of your profile picture if you want, or you can just use it as a bit of an overlay whilst you're setting everything up, and you can delete it at the end. Let's colour ours in yellow. Now the next thing I want to do is you can either upload a picture of yourself. So if you click on Uploads and Upload Media, you can add a picture in of yourself. So I've got this one of the Hoff. That's if you wish to have just a picture of you on there. Or if it's a bit of a faceless channel and you just want a brand, and if you click on Elements, you can just find something that relates to your brand. It could be your official logo if you're a business, or it could just be something that fits in with the theme of your channel. So fairly obvious, but let's just have a quick search for dog. I'm going to click on this filter button because I don't want any animated ones. I just want a static picture. And again, what you can also do in there is if you want to filter it by colour, you can do. Scroll down until you find one that you like. I'm actually going to go with this guy. As you move your element around, you'll see these pink lines. Then pink lines show you when you've got the centre point. So you can see there I've got a pink horizontal and vertical line. That means I've got the centre point of the actual canvas, which is good. That's what we want. Now we could leave it at that. It's nice, it's simplistic, it kind of does what we want it to do. If you want, you can add some text, but again, you've got to remember, going back to YouTube, you've got to remember that there's not much room for text. So you can see that's a BBC logo, and you can barely see the BBC. So personally, unless you just put in a couple of initials and it's all about the text, personally, I would try and leave text out of it. All we do now is download, and you want to download it as a PNG file. Go back to our YouTube channel, and remember we're still in the settings and the customization tab. I'm going to upload the picture. If you wish, you can crop it in here, and you can see there's a faint outline there which shows exactly what's going to show as part of the profile picture. So we're going to actually have a very thin line of blue that's going around there, which I don't mind, that'll look alright that, but if you wanted it to just be the yellow, you can just crop it in slightly. Click Done. We're going to click on Publish, and then we're going to go back and change our banner image. Let's just have a quick look and see if the changes have took effect, and they have. You can see at the top there, we've got the dog boss. Now, if you ever want to change that again and you don't want to go into the customization option, if you just click on it, that photo icon comes up, so you can just click on it and change it from there. So next up, we want a banner image. Now this is the banner image, it's what goes at the top of your YouTube page. There's a couple of important things that we can put on there as well. If you were building a personal brand, it's good to have a little picture of yourself. But one thing you've got to do is kind of make it clear who you're looking to attract, give them an idea of how often you produce videos, and maybe tell them why they should subscribe. You've got to really make it clear that who this channel is actually for and what it's about. So as you can see, I create videos for content creators. I show them tech, strategy, ways of making money. And that's all explained there. What a lot of channels do is they'll also put their publishing schedule. So they'll put like new video every week. I don't have that on mine, but it's a good suggestion and a lot of other YouTubers do it. So let's go back to YouTube and just type in YouTube again. And there's something very important that you need to take note of in a second. So the banner is also called YouTube channel art. And if I hover over that, you can see the dimensions at the side. And it's 2560 by 1440. Now I'm going to show you something in a second that's really important. So let's just open that up. Again, we've got tons of different suggestions in here that we can use. Now, one thing to take note of is, do you see how most of them, their text is centered right in the middle? It's a lot smaller. Look at each one. It's in the middle. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show you. Now, what we should do really is have a bit of a consistent theme with the colours that we use. So if I look on colours now, you can see it's gone back to the default. Now, what I could have done is created a colour palette. So you see at the bottom it says add another palette. So let's just do that. So I've already got one set in here with some really bright garish colours that I use on my blog, but I'm just going to click on add and discover palettes to put another one in. And it gives you some suggestions in here, so it's got kind of complementary colour schemes. I'm going to create a custom one. And where it says untitled palette, I'm just going to put the dog boss. Now, to add our first colour, what I'm going to do is just go back and find the icon that we just created. And you can see it's in there. So we're mainly using this blue colour, the yellow, and then black and white and grey, really. So let's grab that yellow. I'm going to click on that circle, click on colour. And then if you just hover over it, you can see there, it's FFDE59. That code is a hex value. That's basically specific to that colour. So we want to do hashtag FFDE59. Let's go back to this tab. So we're going to click on this plus and we're going to add that in. And then we're going to do the same with the next colour. So let's go back. Let's grab that blue. Now sometimes in Canva you can't actually select the layer underneath because the circle's kind of all over it. What you do is you hold down the control key and then just click, and it will actually cycle through the different layers. You can see in the top corner there, it's gone to our blue now. Now the blue colour we've got is 00C2CB. 00C2CB. And then obviously we've just got a white and a black on there as well. So that's our colour palette. And then click on the white blank area, click on the colour, and it's added in our palette. Like I say, it could be that that's a premium version, but all you need to do is, if it is a premium version and you only want to use a free account, it's simple enough. Just write it down on a piece of paper. And that way you've got consistent colours throughout. So let's do the background in yellow. Now I said there was something really important that you need to understand, and I'm going to show you by creating this square. So one thing to note with your channel art is that depending on whether you're watching it on a TV, a desktop, a tablet or a mobile, you're only going to have certain parts that are visible. So what we want to do, as many people watch YouTube on a mobile device, we want the bulk of our content to be visible on mobile. And that's why in all them templates I showed you before, that's why only a small bit in the middle was showing. Now take note of this, the dimensions that are going to be visible on mobile are actually 1546 by 423. So what we need to do, and this is a little shortcut I'm going to show you, is create a square using the elements function. And then if you click and drag in that bottom corner, this is the resize. We can actually set it so it's the same size for mobile. So if we set this so that it's 423 high, or close as we can get, 423. And then if we click and drag the width, do you see how that little black box is actually changing? So now we want 1546. So that is them exact dimensions that we've set there. So all we need to do is we need to make sure this is in the center of our canvas. So if we drag it around, remember you're looking for them purple lines. Once you've got the purple lines, horizontal and vertical, that is the center point of that canvas. So even though this whole yellow area is basically going to be our channel art, if you were looking at this on mobile, the only part that will be visible is that green part. So let's just delete that for now because that's not part of the design. Now again, it's up to you. What some people do is they will leave something like that in there and they'll basically create their design around it, so there's a distinction. Or we can create our design, then go back and just delete it so that we know that everything's in the right position. I'm just going to quickly whiz through. I'm going to add text in there, so I'm going to create a heading. I'm going to place it fairly central. I'm going to add an effect on there. So on the effects, there's various different things that you can do. I like to use this lift because it just puts a slight shadowing in there. It's very subtle to see, but it just puts a slight shadow in there and it just makes it look a little bit kind of, it stands out a little bit more. You've got tons of different options for fonts, so pick whatever fonts you prefer. I like to use, as you can see, I like to use quite bold fonts. League Spartan's probably one of my favourites, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to go to elements, and again, if you're using a picture of yourself, it's a good place to put it, but I'm going to go back to our old friend. So let's also put some text in there that tells people when we're going to produce videos and maybe to subscribe as well. So I'm going to keep it fairly simple. Like I say, you can make it as complex if you want. You can add different gradients, different elements, different textures to it as well. Our position is pretty good there, so I'm just going to get rid of that green now. Now, I'm not sure if that stands out enough, but one thing I will do is I'm going to create a little element to go behind there. So I'm going to create a square again. Sometimes it just helps your text just stand out that little bit. Again, a lot of it is just playing around with things, getting it just so it's in the right position, if you like it, changing the fonts. It depends how bold you want it to be. So there's lots of different things that you can do. It's more about just playing around and getting it so it looks just right to you. Let's go with that for now. And download. So go back to our YouTube channel, and again, click on Customize Channel, Branding, and we're now going to upload the banner image. So that's what I was trying to tell you before. So this is actually going to show you here what's viewable on TV, what's viewable on desktop, and what's viewable on all devices. So what you might find is that you download your banner and then you change a few things around, you mess around with the layout and you upload it. You can crop it in slightly there if you wish as well. It's all about testing and tweaking, and Canva's good for that because it's going to save it. You can move it around. They're all changeable elements, but just play around, see what you can do. So simple enough so far, but what about the content itself, the actual videos? Can we really produce videos using Canva alone? Well, the good news is yes, you can, and I'm going to show you how. Plus, I'm going to give you some simple steps to creating all the extra touches. We're going to start with an intro. Now, there are arguments whether you should use an intro or not. Many people don't have the patience to watch an intro, so just be aware of that and test it with your own audience. If you are going to have one, I'd recommend you keep it roughly around 5-7 seconds. Keep it nice and snappy. It's just a quick way of saying who you are or what your channel's about and just creating a bit of consistent branding. But do you need an intro? I don't think so. But I want this video to show you everything you could possibly need to know, so let's create one anyway. As with anything, YouTube has got loads of suggestions in there as well. So let's click on YouTube intro to get our template. Again, what you can do is you can just create based on a template. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to show you a blank one so you know all of the steps involved. Now, what I like is quite kind of fast-paced and something that just grabs their attention and it shows them a little bit what they're going to learn. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to create the first slide and then I'll whiz through it so you're not listening to me rambling on while we do the intro part. First thing to do is set our background. Again, I'm going to use the colours that we've created in our palette, so I'm going to use that yellow. Now I'm just going to do a great big kind of text-based one. So I'm going to click on text, add a heading, and let's tell them what the channel is about. And I want to use a different font than Poppins Bold, so let's change the font at the top. I want quite a narrow font, so I'm going to use Anton. Now there's various different things you can do with text. I showed you before some of the effects that you can add, where you can put a little bit of lift on there, or you can put different effects. There's also an animate button. Now this animate button is quite important. So on this, if you click on animate, on the left hand side, it shows you different animations. The ones that have got the little crown on it are the premium ones that need a paid account. The ones that don't, anyone can use. Now that animate button appears in two places. If we click on this grey area off the canvas, this gives us the animate option for that entire slide. So basically, anything that you add on there, it would apply the animation that's set in there. If you click on an element and it gives you the animate option, that will animate just that one element. So if you had 5 words on that screen now, you could have different animation types for each one of those words. In this case, I'm just going to use breathe. If we click off the canvas again, you'll see there's a little stop timer here. If we click on that, this is going to show, if it's a video, how long it plays for. Now I want it to be pretty quick, so I'm going to actually change that to 0.5 seconds and press enter. Now do you see at the bottom here, this is going to show all the different slides. So this is going to be like almost a sequence of what we're trying to produce. Now I'm actually going to duplicate that page by clicking on this duplicate page button. And then on page 2, I'm just going to change the word. I'm going to change the colour of the background and the colour of the font. And I'm also going to change the animation type as well. So I'm going to change it from breathe to fade. You don't have to have animation on as well if you don't want. And then you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm basically just going to keep duplicating these, changing the fonts, the animations, the colours, whatever it is that you think works. We're just going to create them first, and then you can always tweak them and test them afterwards. The important thing is to change that timer to 0.5 to keep it quite short and snappy. But play around with that as well. It could be that it ends up looking too fast. It could be that you want to change it to a second, but we just don't want a long intro that people are going to click off. So I'm going to shut up talking for a second while I just quickly whiz through and create all this. And I'm going to do that by duplicating these pages, which you can do from that button, or you can do by clicking on these 3 dots and then clicking on duplicate. If you want to change the order, just click and drag. On the final slide, I'm going to add a dog. Now, one thing that's useful when you're looking for photos is you can either have a photo that fills the entire screen with the background, or you can have what's known as a cutout where it's got a transparent background. So it's fairly obvious when you look at them in the preview window, but if you click on that filter button as well, you can actually choose cutouts only there and apply a filter. I'm going to use this little dude because he's extremely talented. I'm not going to put any animation on him. And what I'm then going to do is I'm going to duplicate that slide. But I'm also then going to add a subscribe button. Actually, let's go back because that defaulted to 5 seconds. We don't want it on 5 seconds. We want 0.5. Then on this one, I'm just going to have a look at elements and I'm going to look for a subscribe. It's giving people a little call to action. It's telling them what we want them to do. And we can maybe add this one in for like a second, maybe. So that's give us all the slides. As you can see at the top, it's on 4.5 seconds. So it's quite a quick one. What we could do is maybe just put that to a second. It's round about the time we want there, 5 seconds. If we click on play, it'll give us a little preview. Let's just see what it looks like. There you go, I'm happy with that. Now the only thing we could add to it is maybe a little bit of audio as well. So you've got an audio tab on the left hand side. You've got various different kind of keywords that will filter down the type of music you're looking for. And you can also change it to free if you don't have a paid account. So let's have a think what we can use. Let's go for bright because we want something that is a little bit more kind of happy and exciting. Basically, you've then got to go through and find one that suits your actual intro. So the one I'm going to use is actually this one. So you've just got to play around and find ones that suit. So I'm just going to click on that. You can see it's appeared on this left-hand side here. So play around with it, get it exactly how you want it. I'm happy with that for now, and then download it as an MP4 video. And what you want to do is make sure that all of the pages are selected. Click done and download. So the next one is the big one. It's actually creating the video. This is the bit where you think, well, fair enough. I can do the banner, I can do the profile, I can do an intro. I can't create my videos in Canva. Well, actually you can. Yes, you're going to be a little bit more limited with the type of video that you want, but you can do it just in Canva without having to record videos of yourself, without having to show your face. You can do it all here. I'm going to show you how. Now to create the video, we just want something that's landscape format, so you can search for YouTube thumbnail and use the same template that's on there, but there are other options as well. As you can see here, you've got presentation. You could use that if you wish. And this video. If we click on video, we could actually use this slideshow video. As you can see there, it's 1920 by 1080, which is exactly what we want. Or YouTube video, whichever one works for you. Again, if you look on the left-hand side, there's various templates in there. So if you wish to just kind of use a template and work from that, you can do. I mean, if we click on this one, for example, I mean, this looks like a wedding one, but you can see in there, once you click on it, you've actually got 10 pages. Let me just add these in so you can see as a preview. So this is like a slideshow that someone's created. It looks like, it looks like an anniversary one, 5 years of memories. So you've got different textures, different background colors. So if you wished, you could just use one of these and just adapt it to however you like, really. So it just gives you a little bit of inspiration. It's quite kind of bright and funky. It's not a million miles from the color palette that we've started using, really. I'm just going to undo that because I don't want them. Again, let's just start with a blank template then. So this is where you need to have your YouTube video script, and you need to think about what you're going to be talking about, what you're going to be explaining. So in our video, let's pretend we're creating a video that's 5 facts about beagles, maybe. Let's find a beagle dog. Let's use this image. So this could be our opening slide. Remember, you've got that animate button if you wish to use it. You can animate the whole page or the elements. Let's add some text in there. On the left hand side, you've got some kind of shortcuts if you want to use them, or we can just add our own in. Let's have a quick look. Let's use this little template here. The only reason I'm saying that is because it could just work quite nicely for this part. What I'm going to do, when you use these templates, if you ever then want to try and move them around, they're all locked together. If you right click and then click on ungroup, that will separate them again, so you can pretty much do what you want with them then. So play around with your design, change the fonts, change the positioning, add little effects in there. It's about getting it to look quite right for you. Like I say, the first few of these that you do, you're going to be altering absolutely everything. It's going to take a lot more kind of messing. But that's our main introduction where you just welcome people onto it. On page 2, we could probably add a video. Now, Canva comes with tons of stock video. So if we just change it to videos on there, and let's just see if there's any of beagles. And there are, look, there's quite a few. In the bottom left hand corner it shows you the timings as well, and that can be quite important. So if you've got an idea of your script, you'll have an idea of how long you're going to talk for. So let's click on that video and just drag it in. Now when you click on the video, you'll see, say you want to adjust the timing of that video. In the top left hand corner, you've got the time that it's actually the duration, and then you've got these scissors. If you click on them scissors, it'll show you the actual timeline. So you can shorten it, you can lengthen it if you want. If you think, well, I've only got about 18 seconds worth of talking on there, you can make it longer if you wish. So it's up to you how you want to do that. What we're going to do in a minute is I'm going to show you how to add the voiceover to this. So you could just leave it as a video if you wish, or you can add some overlays as well. So let's just add an overlay just as an example. Let's just pick a heading. Again, we're going to put an animation just on that fact. So I'm going to actually have this coming in from the side. I'm going to add a little bit of that lift on there as well. I'm going to do the same at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to put the title, or the key fact really. And what we could do, just to make that stand out, is we could add a background to it as well. So let's add a element. And again, let's put some animation on there, and let's also have these kind of coming in from the side. If you just hover over any of these, it'll show you what they actually are. Let's put baseline from that one. So what we can do, if you wish that to be a little bit kind of more transparent as well, if you click on the element and click on this transparency button, and you can change that if you wish. Now another type of feature that you may want as well is you may want to use some infographics. So let's create a new slide. Let's find a background picture again. Let's use that one, and we can just position that because it's got a nice white background. We can position it there. And what we could do is in Canva, you've got a really good section called charts. If we click on charts, it gives us these. Now the thing that looks good about these is if we click on one of these elements, like this pictogram, we can actually change it. So we can actually put, for example, let's use that one, and we're going to put, you can change the amount, so you can change that to a 6. We'll leave it as 10. You can choose how many are filled. Let's just set it as 1. You can change the spacing, you can change the icon, you can change lots of different things on there. But this is good for creating infographics and putting facts on there. So let's just use this just as an example so you know what I mean. There you go. So that gives us a little slide with an infographic that we can quickly change. There's different types of effects and styles on there as well. So that gives you a few ideas of the type of content that you can create. So that's all very well and good, but how does that actually then appear as a YouTube video? Well, I'm going to show you that part as well. So what we want to do is add some audio, otherwise you're just going to have a blank slideshow. Yes, you can add music, and I suppose in a way you could add these slides together, you could put music over it and you could just play that with absolutely nothing on there. But I think you need to elaborate more personally. I think you need to explain the stories and the facts and to put some actual audio on there. Now what you can do if you wish is you can go to uploads and audio. And let's say that you've created a audio recording on your phone. You can upload it into there. Now, the hard part with this is with a video editor, you'd be able to then chop and change it and drag out your actual images so that everything lines up nicely. It's a lot harder to do it this way because you've got to make sure all of your timings for each slide fit perfectly. Yes, it's possible, but would it be quick? Probably not, which is why I'm going to give you a little secret option that Canva have released that will really help you with this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top here, and there's a feature called present and record. Now this is perfect. I'm going to show you why. So this is a new feature, and as it says there, you can record yourself while talking over a presentation, and then you can share that link. So I'm going to show you how this works. Now, when you launch it, you can see it's trying to find a camera and microphone. Now, it's just got a black circle there for me, and that's basically because on that black circle, I've just got my laptop lid closed, so that's the actual camera just showing nothing really. Now, at the moment, because this is a brand new feature, there's no way of controlling this. It has to put a circle on there, and it has to show you. So if you've got the camera pointing at you, that's fine, and you're happy to be on camera and be on the presentation, then great. It'll just put a picture of you in the bottom corner. But what I will do is I'll show you a little workaround. It's a little bit long-winded, but it's a little cheat that'll allow us to kind of record and present, and then we'll work around the fact we've got that black circle or a picture of ourselves in the bottom corner. So as you can see, this is in presentation mode now. So this gives us the chance to just speak our audio over the slides. So there's no time limits. We can present and record our audio from within this presentation. You can move through the slides at your own pace. So whereas if we upload some audio, you're completely dependent on just getting your timings perfect for each slide. In this case, we can put that slide on the screen and speak for 5 minutes if we wish to. So it just gives us a lot more flexibility and control over the audio and what people are actually looking at as well. It's a really good little feature that Canva have introduced. And like I say, all it needs now is just a little bit of tweaking and a bit more control that we can put in place. So once we're done and once we've explained our audio, we're going to click on end recording, and then in a moment I'll show you a little workaround to get rid of that annoying black circle or whatever it is that you've got there. Once you've clicked on end recording, what it'll do is it'll take you back to Canva, and it'll give you a download link as well. So all we're going to do is very easy. We're just going to hit the button to download, and that's going to download that file directly to our laptop or PC. Now that's downloaded, as you can imagine, what we're going to do now is re-upload it. So we're going to go back in and create another slideshow video. This time it's a blank one, so you can't see the slides that we created previously. This time we're going to go to uploads, and we're going to re-upload the video that we've just downloaded. Now we'll just position that right on the screen so it fills the screen. Now you can see what I'm saying. See, look in the bottom left hand corner, look at that black circle. That's the problem. So that would either be a black circle or it would be a picture of whatever your camera can see. So probably you. What we want to do is now get rid of that. I'm going to show you a little hack and a way to get around this. Now all you need to do really is drag a picture into that bottom left hand corner and cover it up. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to use our logo, so it looks a little bit like it's on our branding. So the logo and the profile picture that you created before, just upload that. Now you can see it's a square, and what we want to do is create a circle. So go to elements, and if you scroll down, there's a section called frames. Now frames does have a circular frame. If you place that on the canvas and just resize it appropriately, even though that picture of our profile picture is square, if you drag that picture into a circular frame, it will then apply almost a circular mask to it. So there you go. So we've managed to bring our profile picture in, and it just looks like a little bit of branding. Now one thing I did notice, which I should have pointed out before, is because we can't move that circle around, it's stuck in the bottom left hand corner, it's covering up that little fact that we added. So just something to bear in mind. If you go back and look at when we created that, I would maybe reposition them elsewhere on the screen, further up or on one of the other sides. And eventually, hopefully Canva will just give us a little bit more flexibility on whether we even have to show that circle and that picture, or whether we can upload our own or even hide it completely. So next up, I'm going to show you how to create an outro or some end cards. Now, do you know when you get to the end of a YouTube video, and in there there'll be some little squares where you've got the coming up next videos? That's what's known as an end card. So what we're going to do to create that is we're actually going to create a YouTube intro again, because it's using the same templates, and this is really easy. So this will only take a minute to whiz through. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to look in here, and we want to find some end cards that are already more or less done for us. You don't have to go over the top with the design on this. It's pretty straightforward. You normally have a circular shape for putting a picture of yourself or your profile picture that people can just click and subscribe. And you normally have a rectangle or maybe two rectangles for your next videos. Now it's actually when you upload a video to YouTube, that's when you choose where them videos go. So this part, the end card part, actually goes onto the end of your video. We're just going to choose this one as an example, which is the quickest way to do it. Now, there's nothing on here that you've not seen previously. It's really straightforward. All I'm going to do is whiz through it. I'm going to set the colours to our branding, and maybe move a couple of things around, change the background. If you wish, you can change the audio as well. So you can put some music on this just as a bit of a bit more of a lively outro to your video. But yeah, I'm just going to whiz through this now and we'll be done in a moment. Next up, I'm going to actually load our video from before, because what I should do is show you how to put the intros and the end cards into the actual video. So remember, we're not using a video editor here, we're just using Canva for everything. It's really easy. All you need to do is upload both of them videos, them MP4 files that we've already created. So there's the end cards, and we'll just grab the intro as well. And then open them, and that will upload them into Canva. Now what you're going to have to do is treat these like a new slide or a new page. So we're just going to create a page at the end, and then we're going to click on the actual uploaded end card video that we've just created, and that'll just play as a video at the end. And pretty much the same for the intro as well. Let's go to the second page and let's just insert a new page after that. So we're going to click on the add page button, and then we're just going to put our intro in there as well. Drag it out so it fills the page. Let's just have a quick look what that actually looks like. So this is what our video will look like. So obviously this is the one before we did the record and present, and you can see it doesn't have that picture in the bottom left hand corner. If you wanted to create a video that was just slides and music, then you could do. But the only thing I would say is you need to put a lot more information and facts on the screen if there's not going to be any audio with people speaking. Last but not least, we're going to create a YouTube thumbnail. Now, one of the most important aspects of YouTube is getting people to click on your actual videos. Now, there's actually proven ways of doing these, but you want to keep things kind of interesting and intriguing. There's no harm in having words on there, but don't put loads of words on there. Just put something that invokes a little bit of curiosity. Keep the rest kind of contrasting colours, bold. You want it to stand out in a sea of other thumbnails. So think about how you can do that. Have a look at other people's thumbnails as examples and see what makes you click on them rather than someone else's. It's also proven that faces actually work really well on thumbnails, so this all depends on your channel. We've created a dog channel, so a picture of me is probably not going to be much use on this. So with that in mind though, we will use a picture of the dog, because that's kind of the whole point of that channel, isn't it? So I'm just going to set the background colour to one of our brand ones. Thumbnails, it doesn't have to stay on brand, you can just put contrasting colours in there. Let's get some text in as well. Again, I quite like big, bold text. So we're just going to add in this picture of the beagle that we used before. Now there's a really good feature in the paid version called background remover. I've shown you before how in Canva you've got some cut out pictures that have got a transparent background. Well, you can actually do that yourself. This is really, really good for thumbnails. You click on background remover, it'll go away, do its magic itself. Now, like I say, it is a paid feature. There are external services you can use if you don't want to have the paid version. But for me, it's worth the money alone. Now, if you want a more in-depth video of how to do this in Canva, I'm just going to quickly whiz through it now, but I've actually got a video that focuses just on this. It also shows you how to add one of them colourful outlines to the picture, which, if you keep watching very carefully now, I'm going to whiz through it, I'm going to do it. It's when you basically get your picture, you click on effects, and you add a shadow, a glow shadow. Like I say, I've got a more in-depth video on that, so I won't go into too much detail here, because I appreciate this is a really, really long video that I've created here, and there's tons of different things in there. So if you look what I'm doing now, you just click on shadows, click on glow, go into the settings by clicking on glow again, And then I just change it around a little bit. So I'm changing this one to white. I'm putting the transparency all the way up, turning the blur down and changing the size. That just makes a picture pop a little bit. Have a look on other people's YouTube thumbnails. The outline feature is used loads, and Canva have recently brought that in as a quick way of doing it. Normally you'd have to rely on having some Photoshop skills, which I am absolutely useless at. So let me just whiz through this now, change a few other things, put a bit of the layout and formatting in place, and that should be our thumbnail done. So that brings us to the end of the video. You could literally use Canva to run a YouTube channel. Is it perfect? No, but it's still a really good option. A lot of people think Canva's just for drawing some pretty pictures, but there's actually a lot more to it. It's extremely capable in many different ways. It does need some improvements in some of the audio options and some of them editing options, but let me get it straight, this isn't designed as a video editor. We're using little hacks and workarounds, and we're just trying to prove a point and challenge ourselves whether we can start a channel using Canva alone. And the fact is, you can. So I hope that's really helped you. I've got loads of other tutorials and videos on Canva and starting a YouTube channel. Check out the description and the videos on screen next for some more.